It's getting to the business end of the year again, and big names are dropping big releases, with Samsung and Google recently releasing some folding toys for us to play with. Samsung have been the forerunners in this category, but in recent times there have also been some quality devices from a plethora of lesser brands. It's a little strange to bundle Google in with these lesser brands, but to some extent they have been playing catch up, and perhaps they've finally surpassed the big tech giant of Samsung. In today's video, we take a look at the brand new Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold and the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 and see which one of these bendy blazers comes out top trumps. So get out your cheese puffs and let's dive into this one. Just before we get into the meat and bones of today's video, if you guys are enjoying the content, smashing the like button sure does help the algo, but just watching our stuff is already fantastic. Hit us up with a sub if you'd like to see more, and we'd also love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Alright, back to it. Starting off with the design. Samsung are pretty much sticking to their tried and trusted formula. However, it is reasonably different and changed in some regards. It's more refined, thinner, and also looks and feels more premium than ever before. The flat rails receive a classy matte finish, which also resists fingerprints. The camera bump is the classic triple camera array, and it's slapped on top of a lifted and rounded metal bar. They've also changed the style of the camera rings a bit, and these small details add up and look really good. They've done some work to the hinge, adding new materials and new technology, making it more compact, and it also retains its ability to stay open in any position like a laptop. And because of these refinements, they've been able to widen the outer display whilst keeping the dimensions nearly identical to last year's model. The Pixel 9 Pro Fold has most definitely made more wholesale changes in regards to design, understandable as they learned a lot from their first attempt. What has stayed more or less the same in the best of ways is the outer screen, which retains its regular phone screen dimensions, even considering the taller design. They have also gone with flat sides, however they are rounded at the corners, which we really like for comfort and style. It is also super duper thin, which makes it feel great to use when folded. The all new camera bump on the back gets a lot of hate, but in our opinion it still retains a lot of Pixel DNA and doesn't look out of place. It does stand out a fair bit though. It comes in two colors, obsidian and porcelain. These foldable beauties both receive Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection for the front and back panels. All things considered, these both look and feel like top-end cutting edge and premium devices, and you'll be happy either way, but we give this section to the Pixel. Displays are always at the center of things with foldables, as their main design feature is in fact the folding screen. Who knew? I mean, we are giving top quality info over here. Getting back to it, Samsung's outer display has always received criticism for its tall and slender form. This year, they have improved that by widening the display and also squaring it off, sticking to the recent screen design with those tight corners. We think it looks great. It's a 6.3-inch 120Hz LTPO AMOLED 2X display with 2600 nits of peak brightness. The folding screen also delivers some excellent chops at 7.6 inches. It's a 120Hz LTPO AMOLED display that also peaks out at 2600 nits. The borders are also squared off and thin. The under display camera stays out of your way for undisturbed viewing. Google have come out swinging and are aiming for headshots with a lovely 6.3-inch 120Hz OLED display with a peak brightness of 2700 nits. It's also a rounded display, and they've got the proportions just right because it looks very friendly to use. On the folding display, they have scratched the thick bezels and gone for a uniform and thin bezel, and instead of putting the camera in the bezel up top, they have placed it in a hole punch format in the top right corner. Not as clean as the Z Fold 6, however, you do get a massive 8-inch 120Hz LTPO OLED display that peaks at 2700 nits, which does make up for that slight distraction. Both devices deliver excellent use experiences in terms of screens, but the outer screen on the Pixel is still better and easier to use day to day, and though the Samsung has a clear unobstructed inner display, the 8-inch panel on the Pixel is fantastic, and we are once again going to give this section to the Pixel. Getting to computing power and user experience, the Pixel is running the brand spanking new Tensor G4. combined with 16 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs internally as standard, and up to 512 on the highest end, which isn't bad, but perhaps a terabyte would be cool. The G4 has definitely been well optimized, feels snappy and can run a fair bit of gaming, but it does get a little toasty after a while and on longer sessions will result in dropped frames. The average Joe won't notice anything in terms of day-to-day use and the experience will be buttery smooth, but there are a couple of moments that the Pixel 9 Pro Fold thinks a bit longer about what it's going to do than you would expect from a premium device like this. That being said, the AI and stock Android Pixel experience on a folded display has been refined and optimized for a brilliant overall experience, and it is quite a joy to use, and we do prefer this UI over the Samsung's. The Galaxy Z Fold 6 is powered by the tried and trusted beast in the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Samsung, 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs internally as standard, and up to a terabyte at the top end. It's fast, smooth, powerful, and we have almost never noticed any stutters. Just a really fluent experience. One UI is fantastic and the optimization for multitasking is brilliant as well. The AI is very similar to the one on the Pixel. In general, these devices do a phenomenal job at delivering a premium technological experience. The extra power from the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is the deciding factor though. In the camera section, both of these devices deliver pretty good performance. Their cameras don't quite reach the heights of the standard models, however, they are very good and definitely compete with flagship quality shots. The Pixel 9 Pro Fold has a triple camera setup on the newly designed camera bump. It retains much of the same specs as the previous generation with a 48 megapixel main shooter, 10 megapixel 5 telephoto and a 10 megapixel ultra wide. Shots are pleasantly bright but not unnatural, though you can notice some image processing, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. And even though they have used essentially the same camera tech as the previous model, it still does a very nice job. Both the inner and outer cover display get the same 10 megapixel selfie cameras, which are very decent. The folding display has the selfie in the top right corner, which will give a slightly strange angle for video calls, but it's not too bad, and because it's not under display, it has no glare whatsoever. You also get a triple camera setup on the Z Fold 6, arranged in the patented vertical row. A 50 megapixel main sensor, a 10 megapixel optical zoom and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. Unlike last year's Fold, this one gets a lot of its chops from the S24 Ultra, and due to this upgrade it definitely takes better shots and video. Dynamic range is good, quality is excellent, but we do feel that colors are a little bit too vibrant for our liking at times. But that's just nitpicking. You also get 8K video recording, which is great. The 4 megapixel under display selfie cam does a better job than we expected. That being said, it's not as good as the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. The 10 megapixel outer display selfie cam is also decent. Overall, we thought both devices did a fantastic job in this regard. However, the Pixel device seemed to have the edge in more situations. Both these devices deliver a great stereo speaker experience, getting quite loud whilst retaining a fair amount of quality even at the top end. A very good content consuming experience. With everything crammed into these technological spectacles, it's hard to imagine any space for a large battery, and in this area especially Samsung have struggled to deliver. The Z Fold 6 has a 4400 mAh battery that gets 25 watts of wired charging, 15 watts wireless and 4.5 watts reverse. It does last through most days without heavy use, and it is an improvement over the last model, but if you use it extensively with the inner screen it tends to fall short of the day mark. The Pixel 9 Pro Fold gets a 4650 mAh battery that's actually smaller than last year's model. Despite this, it lasts longer than the previous gen in our test. It gets 21 watts of wired charging. It also has key charging, which is cool. It lasts longer than the Z Fold 6 and seems to get through an entire day without too many problems, even on heavier use. The Tensor G4 probably has something to do with that. These are both quite slow in terms of recharging, and the specs in that regard are quite lackluster, but the battery section is won quite convincingly by the Pixel in our opinion. These heavyweights both come in at 1,800 big ones, which is enough to sink a small country and take your credit card way past redline. But they do deliver an excellent experience for all those dollar bills. The Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold with its huge inner display, friendly and usable outer screen, and super slim and premium build takes the cake for us. But that's just what we think. Which one of these titans would you guys prefer? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching the video. Until next time, stay under the spotlight.